I'm ready when y'all are.
I don't even know what we're talking about, but it sounds
That's
just
all
a
right. We gonna
conversation.
freestyle this one. Yeah, we gonna freestyle this one. What's up, y'all? Y'all all right?
Great.
I almost want to get to the sneakers first because I see y'all always coming in trying to hijack me, but we'll let it go. We'll let it go for now. I think my guess is gonna win. I'm rooting
she
for
was
my
like,
guess
do you
this
see
time.
my sneakers? I was like, oh.
Yeah, I'm rooting.
My
for
plan
her.
was not to wear them, honestly. I was gonna switch
No,
into
it's
shoes.
perfect.
So
Nah.
then,
love them.
okay.
Nah, it matches, and we'll get to it at some point because
That's
these
hilarious.
two get on my nerves with this contest.
Wow.
This one here has about 12 sneakers, 12 pair in the back. Trust me.
That's crazy.
And son, like, it's not even fair. He used to play ball. He probably didn't pay for these.
That's
How you know
bananas.
that?
That's
Right?
so disrespectful.
I'm,
bro.
I'm trying to tell him.
Like I'm
I
saying,
know
you still getting-
when you
you still
6'7"
copping
or above, they just give you boxes.
They just send them your way.
Right.
We got extra inventory.
They just
no
send
one
you-
else is gonna fit this.
Right, exactly. No one's gonna fit these 15.
But ball players, so
Right,
just
I don't make
avail
the
yourself.
cut. I'm 6'4", so I don't make
Oh,
the cut.
wow,
You got to be
wow.
like 6'6" or above, and then they give you boxes.
That's
But
crazy.
we'll
the
talk
kicks
about
are
that.
fly, though. That's the thing.
What's up?
It's not just the basic kicks though. It's the fly kicks.
I don't know. We'll talk about it though. But it's good to be in the room with everybody. It's been a minute since we've been here. Jay, how you doing? You all right?
Yeah, I'm great.
I like that shirt though.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, I like that. Kai, what's up?
I'm great. My assistant and head fashion design stylist is back, so you know.
Who you talking about, Raina?
Yep.
I like that.
what's
She
up.
showed me
Man,
something
title.
she was working on.
Yeah.
I like
we have
that.
a BAM show on. We doing
Day after
the
tomorrow.
show together,
Yeah, day after tomorrow.
and then I'm out. I'm out for a couple days.
Where you going? Orleans?
Should I tell you? Okay, because this is gonna be long.
Yeah.
Like that. I'm going to Costa Rica, baby.
Oh, you go?
nice.
Oh, that's right for Marsha
Yeah,
thing,
for
right?
50th birthday
Yeah,
party.
that's nice.
That
Nice.
was a surprise. It's not a surprise anymore.
Yeah. Oh, and what happened?
Oh, I'll
Costa
tell
We'll
you.
talk
Rica's
about it
nice.
offline.
Costa Rica's really nice. So you're going to Costa Rica before the graduation?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
For 4 days. It's
That's
her 50th
amazing.
birthday.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, that's beautiful. What part of Costa Rica are you going? You know?
Playa Grande
Grande.
and Guanacaste.
So you're flying into Liberia or San Juan?
Liberia. It's
Okay.
an hour and a half south of
Yeah. No,
Liberia.
yeah.
That's beautiful.
I've done Costa Rica for my
I see you
birthday.
got your
It's a beautiful
San
place.
I
Juan
got my
hoodie
San
on.
Juan,
You
repping
outside.
Shout to
Outside.
Trujillo
Doing it big in
Alto.
Puerto Rico.
Shout to Campo. You know what I'm saying? If you know, you know.
That's
If
crazy.
you know, you know.
All right, so let's get centered. Good to see y'all again. Summer's coming. Stoop Set is June 7th. Hip Hop Closet Block Party is July 12th. We're gonna win the summer again, Kai.
Yes.
You know, we putting the things in place. But let's get centered. When I was doing some research about you, just trying to figure out who I'm gonna be sitting next to, knowing that you are the owner of Blue Smoke, which is right in our community. It's on Washington Avenue. I guess some people may call that, what do you call that area? What do they call that area?
So
is it
technically-
Crown Heights?
No, I think it's
Prospect
well, no,
Heights?
it's Prospect Heights. It's actually Prospect Heights.
Prospect Heights. In my day, it was like when we were younger, what that area, Washington and Dean, right?
No, it was the other side.
It was the other side.
The
It was
other
the other
side of
side.
Atlantic.
It was the
It's
other side
crazy.
of Atlantic. But there are 210,000 small businesses in New York City. New York City is a city of small businesses,
Yes,
and
it
we've
is.
always been that way. But in those 210,000 small businesses, there are millions of stories. People who have come out of corporate America, come out of creative spaces or entrepreneur spaces to build something that they had a passion and was soul driven about. And then it's the actual act of maintaining a small business, which is no small feat.
Absolutely.
Kaisha and I talk about it all the time. Hip Hop Closet is like 27 years old this year.
Wow.
And that's an institution.
Absolutely.
In the same way, Blue Smoke is an institution. I don't know how long y'all been open. You'll tell me, but I know y'all been open long enough because I remember when y'all opened,
Right.
and that was a long time ago,
a long time ago.
right? And so just to have an opportunity to talk to you again, blind. This is like a blind date,
Okay.
right? You know, but understanding
Gentle,
that
huh?
you are one of those people who have laid it on the line and said, "Look, listen, I'm pushing my chips to the table. I'm gonna do this, and then actively having to maintain that day to day.
Right.
But we're not gonna start there. We're gonna start at the beginning, and then we're gonna work our way there.
Wow.
If you just walk with me, okay? So I want to present to
Let's do it.
some. I want to introduce to others. Gloria Cherubin.
Hello. It's popping. Everything is wonderful.
Yo, the
This
allergy
is-
season was crazy today. How you feel today? You all
Yo,
right?
listen. Yesterday was worse for me than today. Interestingly enough, I think it might have been my scheduled dose of
Right.
allergy meds
Mhm.
because I went through like this crazy sneezing spasm for like 5 minutes yesterday, and today I remembered to take it, and I kind of got to it before my 24-hour max hit. And I've been good. It was crazy because I took a picture of this dude when I was driving up, going to the lounge, because he had a stick and he was whacking, like it was like a cherry bomb tree, and he's whacking it so all
The pollen, everything
everything is flying, but he's wanting it to rain. And I'm thinking that there's somebody that's taking the video.
Right.
And I realized he's just whacking the tree, and I was just like, yo, bro, like, do it again. I'm in the car.
Right.
Like, let me capture that. Let me get
Let me
that.
So I don't take medicine for allergies because the allergy medication gives me a funny feeling in my head. I get heady. I don't like
Okay.
that feeling,
Yeah.
right? But every time around March and April and May, I get allergies real bad. So during the pandemic, we were in a COVID bubble, right? So Kai and her husband and me and Big Kev and Bridge, we were in a bubble. But I cough extensively during allergy season. So when I tell you
very
I was so
challenging,
suspect during COVID, they said I had
Nah,
COVID
it's
18.
mad
It was like, nah, you
side-
had COVID before COVID.
Side eye crazy.
Yeah,
We had
so-
like a 3 cough limit.
Yo,
more than 3
Kyle
cough,
will
you have
tell
to
you.
leave.
They used to be
You
like,
be like,
yo,
nah,
son,
fam, you gotta go.
They used to put me in the like, yo, you gotta
Nah.
sit over there, and I'm
not
like,
just gonna
yo,
be coughing.
y'all know I got allergies.
Nah, not in during the pandemic. Coughs
Yeah.
is dangerous,
Yep.
bro. Like,
Yep. So
trying
you
to
may
take
hear a
somebody
couple.
down.
You may hear a couple today, but
And she said, "Ooh."
y'all can't look. COVID's dead. Nobody get COVID no more.
Nah, my people's
Everybody
got
gets
COVID.
COVID.
Had
Yo.
it and had it for like.
When's the last time you heard of somebody getting COVID?
I just told my people just call me. She's in Atlanta, and
well, they in Atlanta.
She
That's
got
a
it.
whole-
She had it. Wow, that's crazy. I mean, I'm looking at the camera. That's
Right, that's on me. That's
Atlanta,
on
I
me.
got mad love
That's
for you.
on me.
You know what I mean? Like-
That's definitely on me. So I want to start at the beginning. Where were you born? Where you from?
Okay. It's so I'm Brooklyn born and raised,
Where?
Flatbush.
Where?
Specifically
Yes. What block?
Flatbush Avenue. I lived on a block called Westbury Court, which is a little dead end block on Flatbush between Winthrop and Hawthorne. That's the
Okay.
poignant,
I know where
memorable
you from.
parts.
So my
of
uncle,
my life.
my uncle used to live on Hawthorne between
Okay.
Flatbush and Beth, the block that had the barber shop on it.
Right.
Yeah, my
right.
uncle
Hawthorne,
Bush.
right there.
My
Yeah,
Uncle Bush used to live on that block
That's
when I was a
crazy.
kid. I got
Yeah.
my hair cut in that barber shop.
Oh, okay.
Before.
So we moved there like 1979. My people from Haiti.
Okay.
So I'm the last of 10 kids.
Uh-huh.
My mom came to this country in like 1970. Only me and my brother before me are the ones born here. Everybody else is born back home. So it was technically Haiti still.
You
in
got
my
a brother
apartment.
named Carmelo?
Nah, no, I do not.
Guy went to Tech, Carmelo Cherubin. So when I saw her name, I was
okay.
like,
Oh, right,
yeah.
yeah.
Shout to Carmelo. Shout to
That's what's
Melo.
up. Cherubin's out there. There's a lot of us.
Mhm.
But grew up on Westbury Court. 1979. I'm 6. 52 right now.
Beautiful. For
Thank
52.
you. Appreciate you.
You gotta tell me what you're doing. I need to do something.
Outside, protecting my peace every day.
She said I'm outside. I love that. No one ever said, yo, I'm drinking water.
Nah.
Yo, I find my comfort. She said, yo, I'm outside. That's how
I'm outside
looking at
protecting my
52.
peace. That's
Right.
it. I gotta go back home from here. You know what I
Right.
mean? It's outside.
Right.
But
Last
so yeah,
of 10 kids. What
Last
type
of
of child
10.
were you?
I was my version of events was I was a great kid. I was super well behaved.
The last child is always the most protected, though.
I mean, yes, there's that because you got a lot of other people, you know.
Right.
And it's 10 of us.
And it's
so
10 of y'all.
My eldest is like 20 years older than me, and
Right.
she is just like a whole.
So you had
parent
another
junior.
mom, right? You had a whole other mother.
Like I don't even know her as a kid. Like she was an adult when I met her.
Right.
Like all of my memories of her
Are as an
an
adult.
adult. You know,
Right.
my eldest nephew was born in '79. You know what I'm saying? So I'm 6 and I'm an aunt. You know what I'm saying? So
That's like my kids. I'll tell you about that.
right.
later.
So grew up in Brooklyn, you know, but in my apartment it was still Haiti. Duvalier was the president, you know, Papa Doc, all that. You know, we ate Haitian food every day. You know, when I wanted
Creole,
American food,
Jean.
you know, it was like a whole situation. So
Right.
yeah, to this day I cook authentic Haitian food. Like we got the true experience. You know what I'm saying? I speak Creole. You know, at one point she tried to teach us French. She was like, "Mama, you're doing too much." You know, I got the Creole on lock, but I understand French, but I can't really speak it. But yeah, so grew up in Brooklyn. You know,
Where'd you go to school?
I went to high school. I went to King.
Oh, you went to King.
I went to King. And I went to King because being the last of 10, no one really ever knew my name. I was
Right.
always Jimmy little sister, Michelle little sister, Francois
Right.
little sister.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm getting out of here. I'm getting out this borough. I'm going to go to Manhattan. And I got a little pre-law program. I thought I was going to be an attorney.
Right.
And I went to
So
high
you was
school.
in King with like Marlon Wayans, Omar Epps, and them cats.
I was in
there.
King with Kenny Montgomery.
Kesha, Kenny, Dogs, shout to Dogs, right?
So so from King, my mom was very adamant about not allowing me to leave New York for college. I mean, she was also ailing. I lost her when I was 21, and so those last few years were challenging. But she was also very much stuck on the idea that New York had hundreds of colleges, and that there was no need for me to go out of state. She also believed in the need to work. You know what I'm saying? Because fiscally, we needed to work. We were poor, and so work full time, go to school full time. I started at Manhattan Community College and then completed my bachelor's at St. Joseph's right here on Clinton Avenue.
Absolutely. What was your major?
I was a political science major because I intended to go to law school.
Right.
Well, I skipped through something. So being on Westbury Court, on Flatbush, my best friend was a girl named Shonda. Shonda went to PSA with Jackie Walker. Okay, so April Walker has been my big sister since we were, you know, coming across Washington. Well, coming down Flatbush onto Washington Avenue, walking past 593 Washington, my cigar lounge, and coming over the Atlantic Avenue to Clinton Hills was just like, you know, dangerous times back then. But my mom didn't know I was doing it. But, you know, we made it across in time and got back home before the lights came on.
Right.
So they never knew. But,
Right.
you know, that was my entryway into just exploring Brooklyn, super young. Look, Shonda goes to LaGuardia, I go to King. So we're us going to...
I'm sorry, she's trying to give me some tequila, and we didn't even plan for this.
That's crazy.
It's
This
fine.
cup
You got
is
it.
empty.
Yeah.
What kind of tequila is this that you're
Yeah,
pouring?
yeah.
Because I'm a little funny. Is it white?
It's Patron. This one.
I don't know what that
Anejo?
is. That Añejo? It's too light to be Añejo. Is that
Jackie
like
too.
straight.
Jackie, I love Jackie. I love April and Jackie.
Jackie,
Yeah,
Abel,
both.
Tahira? Those are my big sisters. So yeah. It's going to be important later. That's why I went back to bring that part element into
Right.
it. So growing up on Flatbush, a lot of siblings, you know, going to King was really about me venturing off and just really trying to create my own identity. People actually know my name is Gloria, right? So, and then coming back to Brooklyn to do my BA was really just, you know, I'm from Brooklyn. This is where we do
So
it.
you was living at home while you was doing your BA at St. Joseph's?
So, yes. Well, actually, by now, by the time I get to St. Joseph's part of my education, I'm living on my own. I'm living on South Portland between Lafayette and
Oh,
DeKalb.
so you in the hood.
I'm in it. Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah,
I've been all in these streets.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, I'm on this side. You know.
So you by Ralph's store.
I'm literally I'm 65. You know. And so yeah, I am living on South Portland, attending St. Joseph's College right there on Clinton. Always working. Planning to go to law school. I graduate the year I'm supposed to graduate is the year my mom passed, and it was a little rough, so I didn't get to walk. She kind of got really sick just before the end of the semester, so I ended up having to walk the following year. But April, who is my big sister. And all throughout, we're doing different activations with Walkaware. You know, I'm with it. You know, we moving around. We at HBCU campuses.
Right,
You know what I'm
this is
saying?
when it's hitting.
This is when it's hitting. It's doing what it's doing. Shonda's goes to Howard, so we're just in this ecosystem. When I graduate, she's like, "Yo, you should come work for me," and I'm just like, "Okay, you know." And obviously, I need to work because I just lost. I'm an orphan at this point, and I've been working the whole time anyway, going to undergrad. So it was just like that wasn't rocket science, but what it did was just kind of open my mind to a whole new industry that I never even considered. I mean, I like to spend money on clothes, but I never really understood the mechanics of making clothes. And working for her as her assistant, you know, I'm a New Year's baby, so I'm a Capricorn. Don't say nothing to me unless you expect to let me use it. Like, I'm a sponge, and if I don't know something and I get exposed to something, I'm just sucking it in. So that's what I was. I was just really in this space working for her and just really absorbing the fashion business, you know, the music business, all of the different ways in which it's connected, and thinking about law school, like, so I'm about to put 80K on this balance sheet and debt, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, I'm doing this and it's making ends meet. So, you know, but after about 3-4 years, I'm just like, yo, April, this business is crazy. Like, I know you've been in it forever, but I don't know if this is really my trajectory. So I think, you know, I need to step away and just really, you know, go to law school. So I decide to start teaching so I can go to school at night. Right? So, you know, I'm taking my LSATs. I'm just trying to figure it out. I start
Teaching in public school?
I'm teaching social studies I end up at David Ruggles in the Sty.
Wow.
Right, that part, right?
So you're teaching social studies.
Social studies, middle school. These kids is wild, but I'm with all the shits, and I'm young.
You gotta be to be a teacher.
Right, you know,
gotta
listen,
be with
if
the
you're
shits.
not with all the shits, you really shouldn't be a teacher.
You got to. Yeah,
because
you gotta
these kids is all, we was wild.
We was wild.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You asked me, and I fronted and said I was good, but you know, good is contextual, right? So, salud. I'm sorry. But yeah. So I'm just like April, but working with April was just like amazing. You know, her clients, everybody from Mike Tyson to Pac to Biggie to just being in this space, super young. And even before I actually started working for her, just kind of being in that ecosystem because all the different activations she was doing, me, Jackie Sean, the team, we were all part of the team. You know, I'm cutting out pockets on 420. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody's getting this work together. You know what I mean? So now I'm in it with her, and I'm just like, you know, I have a different trajectory in my head around the economic life I wanted to create for myself, and I was just feeling like the volatility of the business wasn't really in my best interest, right? So I started teaching.
That was such a that sentence was so well put together.
Lyricism.
Right, like that was crazy. Okay, right. So
I don't know what I just said, but I'm glad you're recording.
No, I feel you didn't match your trajectory.
Off the dome.
Right, it didn't match your trajectory. Okay.
Man, I look forward to seeing that one. Yeah, so so I'm teaching. And the other part I left out was that I fell in love with my high school sweetheart, who we'd been together about 12 years by the time. Well, before we got married, we were together about 12 years. I'm only 52, so you can do the math, right? By the time
You guys were together at King?
He went to East New York. He went to Transit Tech.
Transit Tech.
We met on Flatbush. You know what I'm saying? But we're both in high school, super young, and we just never broke up, right? And so now I'm teaching, and I am with child. I get pregnant, 99, and now I am about to have this baby. I have this premature baby that comes out 6 pounds 7 ounces. Where were you going, bro? What size did you intend to be?
That was premature.
That was premature. I was
Nah.
like, y'all got the dates wrong.
Right. Nah.
Somebody's not
They do
mathing.
the main math. B.
Y'all didn't really know because I wasn't really sure.
Right.
So all of this,
They didn't carry the water.
nah, I was not, because
6
October.
pounds 7 ounces. That sounds
That's
full
a
grown.
regular baby. Like, I was
Right.
like, yo, bro, you was trying to be 12 pounds? You was trying to be an adult? Like, you was trying to destroy my insides. So I have this child in October of '99, and I had got put on bed rest because of the volatility of the pregnancy. So I didn't get to go back and teach that semester. And then he's born in October. So school had just started in September. And now I have a whole person that no one's coming to get, right? And this is mine and this man's, and we're together. We're not married yet. And it's 99. Ruff Ryders has just completed the Ruff Ryder Rockefeller tour. X has done those amazing numbers that broke records.
Those two
for
records
the
in
two
'98, I
albums,
think, that both sold like
right?
5 million.
Exactly. And somehow they connect. Joaquin connects with April and calls April, and he's interested in bringing her on to help handle their merch because they're about to do the Cash Money Ruff Ryder tour in the top of 2000. And at the time, April was doing this work that put a non-compete on Urban Products. So she had a conflict of interest because she was already managing as a brand ambassador another product whose name I'm not going to mention because I don't know what the NDA is out there. And she calls me. Now, mind you, I just had the big head baby that was 6 pounds 7 ounces.
The big head premium.
I love you, Isaiah. When you see this, you know your head is very pretty. And you're so it's November. I'm not even 6 weeks into this maternity leave thing. And she calls me and she's like, hey, Ruff Ryders just called. They're looking for someone to do their merch and licensing. And I think you should take the meeting. And I'm like, girl, you're wild. And I just had this baby. Like, yo, let me tell you about this baby. It's crazy. Like, he be eating all day. It's like the breastfeeding thing. Like, I don't even know if he's full.
Right.
Like, there's no line on my breast that be like, he had enough. The Negro keep falling asleep. Like, yo,
That's
this
how
is...
you know he had enough.
Right, but then he be waking up like in 45 minutes hungry
That's when
again.
you gotta-
This dude is just
Give it to
greedy.
him again.
Right, but I'm Joe. I'm raw. It's just like it's a lot of baby feeding.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
I'm stressed out. She's talking to me about Ruff Ryders, and I'm just like, yo, April, like, I just had a baby, and she's like, exactly, bitch. You just had a baby, and that shit just sat with me. And I was just like, damn, that's crazy. Because I really just had a baby. Like, we're not saying anything other than repeating. Right. You really just had a baby. Really like, you got a whole person. Like, right. What you gonna do?
Babies are expensive.
Babies, they real. Like,
they
cost. Like, it's the money.
They need socks.
All that shit, right? So she's like, yo, just take the meeting, right? And I was just like, all right, you know what? Give me his number. I'll call him, whatever. So I call Y. I pull up to 53rd Street. And I'm thinking it's a meeting. It was clear that he had already made up his mind about what he needed and what his plans were, because I'm sitting here just thinking it's a meet and greet. We're going to chop it up. And old boy was just like, yeah, all right. He's asking me questions that I'm trying to like, and in my head, I'm just like, are you really trying to do this? Like, girl, you was a whole teacher last month. Like, how we get back in this seat? You know what I'm saying? He's telling me about the tour. He's telling me about the product. This is what's going on. And we need to license and we need this, we need that. And I'm just doing numbers because that's just my brain. I have been and I am a serial entrepreneur. And when people talk to me, I make pictures in my head. And I'm just like, okay, I understand what you need. I'm thinking about it and I'm talking to him. And he's asking me numbers and I'm giving him numbers and I'm, giving him concepts. And he's like, look, so, can you start on Monday? And I'm just like, I just had a baby. He was like, right. Hey, that's cool. Like, you can work from home. Like, I just need to call you. And I was like, so I was the first work from home situation. I'm convinced I started the whole work from home.
Started it.
It was me.
I think you may have started.
And I was just like, oh, okay. He was like, yeah, because, we moving, we doing a lot of different stuff. You know what I'm saying? So, if you could just kind of like push in when we need these meetings and just, if I could access you, so we're going to get your phone, two-way pager, you know what I'm saying? At 99, you got, and I'm just like, all right, okay, so I need to let the DOE know I'm not coming back. You know what I'm saying? My brain is just, so I leave this meeting, I call April like, yo, G, like, you set me up. You know what I'm saying? She was like, yo, I just told you to take a meeting. I didn't tell you to say yes. I was like, nah, yo, they was not letting me say no. Like, everything I said.
Because they was already resigned.
They was already, like.
Right, because that April That April vibe is different.
April
listen.
cosign.
That
That
April
cosign?
cosign is different.
Yo, big sis, you always been the
like
one.
it's
just
she
what
is
it
him. Like the kids be like, I'm him. No, she's him. Right. So
She the
that
real one.
cosign is different. So you
Different.
went in there already set up.
Already. So that opens up Pandora's box because my brain is just my brain and I'm super young. You know, I just had Isaiah. I am at this point now I'm about 27, right? And I'm still thinking about the trajectory of my life and how to build the model.
Were you still thinking about law school?
So, you know, I'm one of these people that I feel like when I get in something, I geek out, right? So I really immerse myself into it. You know, when I decided, yes, I'm going to do this project,
Right.
you know, the one thing I can tell you as a teacher, I was struggling every time I got paid, like, carry the one.
Carry the one, but that one ain't carrying.
It's not doing what it's supposed
ain't
to
doing
do.
what it's supposed to
You know what I'm saying?
I got
And
stories.
you know what I'm saying? I was just like, let me just figure this out. So even while this is really what I was doing when I was talking to him, like, so what you want to do? Okay, all right. But this is how I would have to set it up this way. And he was open, and I was just like, all right. I ain't gonna discuss the minutiae of that because you know that's part of something that's a little bit. It's 25 years ago, but it was what it was, right?
You're safe here. We talk about
it's the
what
world.
you want
It's
to
the world
talk
that's
about.
watching.
We
I
don't
understand.
talk about what you don't want to talk
That part.
about.
So yeah,
right?
long story short, I come on board and we hit the ground running.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I got
So
baby.
what are you doing exactly?
So
for
I
Ruff
am.
Ryders?
I come on board as the merchandiser. What's a merchandiser? It means something different in every industry. You know what I'm saying? If you're working for Nike and you're the merchandiser, you're probably the person that directs the collection, the vignettes, and the themes. You know, if you're a merchandiser at Macy's and you do showroom windows, you're the person assorting the window to kind of create the look and feel for the Christmas production.
Right.
In a record company, when you're the merchandiser, you're the person that basically produces all the merch. Anything that has this double R insignia that we can monetize is considered merchandise. So in terms of managing and protecting the intellectual property of RUFFRYDERS, Ruff Ryders, you know, and producing goods in various intellectual property categories, my goal as the merchandiser is to identify those goods that are relevant to the brand, right? That makes sense for who we are, first and foremost. And then secondly, you know, building merch that can produce its own economic footprint in its respective market that may not be succinctly based on what's happening on the music side.
Right.
Because the music is its
It
own
has to have
engine
its own
in
lane.
itself.
It has to have its own lane.
So,
And this is the era where.
and this is 99. This
right,
is
where
2000.
labels and brands
Right.
ran side by side.
Right. So,
Right.
brands, right? What is it to be a brand? You know, I'm sure at some point April's been here and we talked about BYOB, be your own brand.
Your own brand.
Right? In 99, when we think about brands, in 2000, as I'm beginning to curate what becomes the merchandise for this brand, you know, obviously I'm working for some of the most brilliant black men in the world. Like, we cannot dismiss the idea that these men from Yonkers stepped out and, along with their sister Siobhan, along with the amazing roster of artists, and really kind of took the position that we don't need to dilute who we are to be who we are. And we can present this product and this brand in a way that's authentically who we are, number one. Number two, more importantly, we're entering an industry that we feel like we should be able to match you. So if we got one, you got one. If you got one, I got one. If you the main label, okay, cool. You got a marketing, I got a marketing. You got a producer, I got a producer. You know what I'm saying? These brothers are Muslim. Their father is very pivotal in pointing to directing their lens of the way in which they should.
Which is something that people didn't understand.
Right, which was very important. People miss that part. You know, there's disciplines that come in that's just ingrained in their person that really governs the way they move and operate in the business. A lot of people don't really even understand or appreciate what they did. And it's not because they're not very showy people that's just kind of like, look at me. You know what I'm saying? Like, they were one of the very few brands. I don't even know that there's any other brand that had the ability to produce iconic artists on the levels that they did in multiple streams of system. To have X on Sony Eve and the Locks on Interscope at the same time. Ultimately, Swiss, their nephew, being able to go on to do full service on Arista. Like, no one had that. You understand what I'm saying? And a lot of that was based on the fact that they were very much centered on being their own man in their business. Well, so we started with a film and video division. Oh, so Hype is doing this project? Cool. That's cute. But you know who they gotta hire? Us.
Right.
Because what we not finna do is get that contract that we got our brand and our artists, and we're gonna. So it was a lot of really constantly navigating the industry in a way that wanted us to look at us as individual agents of this brand, while supporting them build the infrastructure of each entity that they created.
It was empowerment.
Oh, baby, to the 11th power. So that's.
I knew I would like you.
Did you?
I did.
So nice.
I did.
I'm so happy I made the cut.
Yeah. And now you drinking tequila. Now we
Now,
up.
now the tongue is
Jay,
loose.
you were recording? We recorded because we up now. But nah, what you're saying is real, right? Because, again, you're talking about the late 90s, early aughts. You're talking about joint ventures with labels.
Right.
But also, we had a set of brothers that were doing it self-sufficiently.
Absolutely.
The Rockefellers, the Ruff
Absolutely.
Ryders, right? They were doing it self-sufficiently.
Right.
And one thing you said about Ruff Ryders that I think went over people's heads was that they didn't really have no flops. DMX was one of the top artists of the century.
Baby.
The Lox was one of the top groups of the century. And then Eve killed it.
Murdered.
Right? So they didn't really have any duds
Nah,
in
listen,
the
they
stable.
came in, Drag On.
Drag On, I forgot about Drag On.
what
He was
needed
doing
to
his
be
thing.
done. Everybody did their numbers. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, you know, the history speaks for itself.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So
So you're working from home.
I was.
This shit is the life.
I mean, it was kind of, but you know, the work became so workful that the time, you know, it was the, we having a marketing meeting, and I'm like, yo, it's 10 o'clock at night though. Yeah, I know. 6 gonna pick you up. We gonna have it on 125th Street in front of the Apollo.
Yeah, calm down.
In the van. All right. Okay. Wait. Yeah, I gotta put Isaiah down. I'm gonna call you back.
Now let me ask you, how did your partner
Oh man, listen.
deal with that?
So look, again, I'm one of these women that people call greedy. I'm a greedy woman. You know, I believe that I wanted to have children. I believe that I wanted to be married. I believe that I should have a profession. Not a career, but a profession. I felt like there was a specific calling on my life that was built for me that I had to fulfill, right? And as I navigated, you know, I had a partner. I had, and I say had because I am newly divorced 6 years. I am living the best versions of myself, and life is wonderful. Shout out to T-Roy. You know, you forever my first husband, but
He said, you forever my first husband.
he coined that term.
Right.
You told me that's what I was supposed to say. So, because he didn't like ex-husband, he wanted to be the first. You know, so, gang signs. You know what I'm saying? No gangs.
But
long story short, we were locked in. I told you we was.
right. But this
You
one
like
I'm
me?
asking-
Yes or no? We was that age
Right.
when we got together, and we locked in. We decided to build a life. We agreed to make those kids. You know,
Right.
now it's Lola and it's Isaiah. It's two of them. You know, we agreed to, do the things that we did for the
Right.
years that we did it.
Yeah, but the reason why I ask you that is because when you get purpose driven, right? When your career, like it's one thing to have a job.
Right.
You go to work at 9, you come home at 5.
Right.
You got a job.
Right.
But when you are working in your purpose, right? And when you are on a trajectory that is aligned with your true self,
Right.
sometimes family suffers.
So I don't.
And that's natural.
I don't want to say. Or nor do I want to take for granted that there wasn't sacrifice.
Right.
Right.
There has to be.
I don't want to, make it seem like this pretty picture, in anything,
Right.
and in any journey on life.
Right.
People who talk about work. It's like a curse word.
Yeah.
Nothing don't come if you're not working, right? So you got to work at every part of it. You got to work at the job. You got to work on the relationship.
Right.
You got to work on the family. Like it's just another benchmark of building from yesterday to today.
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying to you. It's different when it's your journey.
So
And what I'm saying
I
is-
think that I want to say it this way.
Uh-huh.
I believe that there's a conspiracy to do me good that's ordained by God.
Correct.
Right?
I
So-
agree with you.
So whatever it was that God saw in me when he was forging him, because he's a year older than me, he thought of me. He said, you know what, he's gonna need
You're
you
good,
and
right,
you're gonna need him.
Gotcha,
And I'm gonna
right.
make it so that life would cross your paths and you guys would actively make the best decision for each other
Gotcha.
and grow in that way. So for those years, yes, there was sacrifice, there was a lot of work, it was a lot of commitment, but it wasn't like he didn't have an identity of his own. He had his own vision, he had his own purpose, he had his own things that he needed to fulfill. I mean, at the beginning, listen, I'm a serial entrepreneur, but my greatest work is my children. You know, being a CEO, I was just sharing with God, Kate, you know what I'm saying? Being a CEO of Isaiah and Lola's life,
That's the biggest part.
that's the biggest part.
I mean,
All this other
yeah,
stuff
I
is
get
just minutia. This is just candy
you. Yeah,
work.
I get you.
But you know, being able to really be in fear and trepidation over every decision you make over these children's life to really kind of build a nice person. That's it. Like that's the goal. I want to build someone who's just nice, who's brilliant, who's couldn't. When I'm in a situation and I'm 80 one day, and I need him or her to make a decision, they have the ingredients
To make the
right decision.
I feel
That's
you.
the goal. You know what I'm saying? So I say that to say, you know, working and having him at my side made this a lot easier, in all honesty, because I was focused and I didn't have to worry about chasing, you know, penises. I didn't have to worry about.
I didn't know you was gonna say that.
I'm sorry, it was too much.
Excuse me, I
It
didn't
was-
know she was gonna say chasing penises.
Just enough.
I'm just saying, at the end of the day, but it does that for you. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? You know, we're from a certain generation in which we desire to leave our parents' house and to build a life of our own. And the way you imagine that life determined the kind of decisions you make. Some of us made reckless decisions. Some of us were willing to risk it all. Some of us was on the block. Some of us, we did a lot of crazy stuff.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? Some of us, you know, made more conservative decisions. You know, at the end of the day, you were making a decision, right? And
Every day you make a decision.
listen, my life is the sum total of all the decisions I've made.
All of our lives
All
are
of
the
it.
sum totals
Right.
of the decisions we've made up to this point.
That point.
Absolutely.
So at the end of the day, I say all that to simply say, journeying through the industry, being young, being a black woman in this space that is male dominated, like I am surrounded by very influential men from the time I work for April to the time I come back in the industry working for Ruff Ryders. And, you know, my focus is really keeping my head down, knowing what I need to do, and just really kind of making sure the work gets done. You know, and as every year came by, every growth, every opportunity we had, it was a matter of just being ready. And, you know, we worked, you know, we created a lot of what was the work because it just didn't exist, what we wanted. You know, I was sharing some of the things that just being in the business was just, the music business and the fashion business was just like an insane clusterfuck, because at the end of the day, you just talking about brands that were really having the ability to really monetize anything that they threw the brand on. To keep it a buck with you, there was a lot of mistakes. There were a lot of walls. There were a lot of failures. But in 2025, all of those failures ended up working out for this brand in the sense in which I'm speaking. Because today, you know, I have a energy drink that's on Amazon. It's
Wow.
branded Ruff Ryders.
Wow.
There is currently deals on motor oil, dog food. There's,
Ruff Ryders dog food.
You know, we've done licenses with Petco for Ruff Ryder dog accessories.
So you're still
I am actively still
working with them.
working with the, well, I don't work at that early years up until about 2007. I worked for them.
Right.
And then beyond that, it's always been as, you know, I started my first company in 2003 as a response to just kind of like producing and manufacturing goods, because the brands were branding. There was so much need, so much infrastructure that was needed to sustain all the goods that we were pushing out. You know, that inspired my first business. And from there, I'm up to business 4.
What was your first business?
It was private label production. I was producing goods for some of the various clients that needed, whether it was brand identity packs or whether it was actual goods that needed manufacturing because I'm sourcing now because I'm making so much. I'm all over the world. I'm in Pakistan. I'm in Thailand. I'm in Korea. I'm in. You know what I'm saying? I'm
So
moving
you're
around.
deep in the supply chain.
I am.
So you're seeing the supply chain in real time.
Creating.
You're creating the supply chain. Right.
Exactly. So for me to do that for them was one thing, but sometimes there were holes that needed to be created. So instead of risking it all on a dime with somebody I didn't know, I was just like, you know what? Let's put this together. Let's create this situation, and now there's execution for the lifestyle. We have a whole lifestyle division, which is all of our bike clubs. We have 250 chapters to this date across the world.
Ruff Ryders bike clubs.
Ruff Ryders bike clubs, and they all need leather vests to make them authentic. So what do? I create a company that's manufacturing leather vests so that I can put this big double R on the vest and meet the need of these chapters. And we are traveling from 2000 on, from country to country, city to city, and Joaquin is establishing these bike clubs, and every person is a member. And to this day, we still have a whole community of members that are part of this ecosystem of the chapter. That when very often people be like, I don't see the goods. And I'm like, yeah, because I can push it right through the community and sell out, and you never get a chance to get it.
You can touch them
like,
where
no
they are. You don't need.
No disrespect to any of the other urban brands, Rockefeller, Sean John, but I'm selling right now on Urban Outfitters today. You can Google it right now. Like, you can go on urbanoutfitters.com and purchase a jersey. I mean, not this one. This is vintage.
Right.
This is the first one that we did for the Cash Money Tour. But I'm just saying, at the end of the day, the point that I can still create deals and partnerships with major retailers. Right. You know what I'm saying? PacSun, Zoomies. Like, we got real collabs. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got a series with Cool Kai. Like, it's just a lot of different things that we can produce as a brand. You know what I'm saying? I can't even speak to some of the stuff. I can't tell you that we produce, but the idea that these men ventured on a campaign that basically said, as a people of color, never tell me I can't do something. The minute you say that, you've inspired me to disrupt everything about what you believe and to prove to you that I can. And they expected that from all of us. And that's what we did. You know what I'm saying? So I draw from all of those experiences to ultimately get through the journey of the business and launching, the various companies that I've launched. And then in 2012...
Hold on.
I'm sorry.
Because I want to... Hold on.
I thought we were running out of time.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
What I want to know is, what is it about you that you think makes you an entrepreneur? Because let's be frank, everybody's not built for that life. Everybody's not built to be an entrepreneur. Right? And everybody's not built to be an entrepreneur in certain things. Right? They may be built to do A, but not built to do B. What is it about you? What is your character trait? Where did it come from that made Gloria an entrepreneur?
Wow. I don't know if I've ever had it framed that way. That's an interesting question to ask. What is it about me?
You know why? Because you a hustler. And hustlers hustle, right? Like, we just, we gonna hustle.
Absolutely.
But
There's no
step
question
back
about that.
for a minute.
I mean, I want to say that, lack is an amazing motivator, right? You don't know the potential of yourself until you find yourself in a situation of lack. My first job, I was 11. I'm the last of 10, so there are 9 other people, and at 11, I need to work because if I wanted a pair of Nikes, Mom Deuce was like, so the way this works in this house, everybody got to carry their weight. I was born in Kings County Hospital. My birth certificate said girl Cherubin. My brother, who's 3 years older than me, that was born in 1970, said boy Cherubin.
Y'all don't even have names.
We have names. I was just like, yo, what was that about, right? Like, why how are 3 years apart and both parents still show up to the hospital without a name?
They was tired of naming y'all.
We done named too many.
They was tired of naming y'all. Like, another one? Yo,
damn, boy. Right? So, I want some kicks. I want to be fly. Like, my brothers and sisters is coming through Sergio Valente, the Lees. Like, I'm doing a hand-me-down. Like, you got Wednesday, I got Thursday.
Right.
We in different schools.
Right.
You know
So
what I mean?
nobody's
So
gonna know. Right.
it's a lot of math that's happening to really make that fit. You know what I'm saying? So I took my brother's birth certificate, made a copy of mine, took the girl, put it over his, and I got hired at Suzette's on Fulton Street. Full disclosure, I knew y'all can't come for me now.
Right. It's too late.
Right.
Statute of limitations.
So boom, 11
But
years
also,
old.
somebody hired you as Girl Cherubin. Because
Listen,
that's wild.
listen.
That's
This is the net. This is the listen. Relationships are the network of life.
Absolutely. Relationships are everything.
My homeboy Mark worked for Young World.
Mm-hmm.
He was a stock guy.
Mm-hmm.
It's a holiday time. When it's a holiday time, they hiring anybody.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? I don't know if you picked it up, but my tongue is smooth. My tongue always been smooth.
Mm-hmm.
I would
Told you that's
talk.
why I like
I would talk you out of your own shoes and sell it
Right.
back to you.
Right.
In the same conversation.
Right.
Right. So boom. Mark works for Young World. He's like, I'm like, yo, I need to get some work. I need to work. I'm gonna get these kicks. Got you. Suzette's is Young World's annex store right here on Fulton
I
Street.
know Suzette's.
Boom. He's just like, they need a salesperson. Walks me in, interview. It's Christmas. Everybody's getting hired. Put your name out. Yo, the way I rolled them, I worked with them. I'm 11, bro. I worked there until I graduated high school.
That's crazy.
Just lying.
That's crazy.
I
Just
lied.
lying.
Just lying.
lying the whole time.
Because at one point, I'm growing, right? And I'm legal now, and I got to get like a state ID. I'm still lying. Because I can't get a state ID, because I'm not 3 years older than... I'm hiding my book bag every day.
So you was telling them you was 14.
From the gate.
From the
I got
jump.
working papers. I'm
You're
11. 11. My
I
birthday's
wish a
on
kid
New
would do
Year's.
that shit now. I wish
On
I
New Year's,
wish I
I'm
could
turning
catch a kid
12
doing
on
that.
New Year's. I get hired in December, bro. Lies. Just lies on lies. But at the end of the day, it worked, right? But I'm saying that as an example of just saying lack will produce in you everything that you need. A lot of problems that we have in this nation because motherfuckers is just too goddamn comfortable. Y'all niggas is complacent. Y'all not motivated by nothing. Niggas walking around here walking 5,000 bill and they feel like they got it. Alright, that shit is cute. Let your mama die. See what happens. Do you have a wherewithal? What you gonna do now? I tell my kids all day, every day, listen, let me explain something to you. I'm rich, bitch. I worked 30 years in this game. You're not gonna, don't monetize your experience on my bread.
Right.
You gotta make your own way. I'm gonna give you, mommy got me here. I got y'all here. But your job is to take this shit here. I'm working on your great grandkids right now. You know what I'm saying? This is about legacy. It's about posterity. And when you start thinking that way, when you thinking about purpose, I'm not just working for the sake of working. Y'all understand that there got to be careers. Careers are just jobs. You go from one place to the next. I just have to make dollars and cents meet. But my profession is my God-given gift. It's where my talents, my abilities, and all of these things. It's the Kairos moment. It's that moment in which that crossroad takes place where my talents, my gifts, and my abilities come together. That's my profession. Profession, if you look it up, everything is your calling. It's that God-given gift. And once you identify with that, nigga, it ain't work for me. I'm just exhaling. I'm exhaling. I am breathing. I'm showing up.
I feel that.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm working. I'm legitimately working. Like I work 7 days a week. Let's be clear, because I haven't hit that number. But it's not a number in that I feel like I need to amass a certain amount of wealth. It's that I am forging community.
Yeah, but also when you get into that lane of the intersection between talent, abilities, and purpose, you could ride that forever.
Right.
Like I feel you.
As you should.
You can't stop.
You can't stop. Why would you stop?
You don't
See,
want
because
to.
there's not one purpose in your life,
Right.
right? If God has ordained or has created this kind of like ecosystem for you to exist in, then it would make sense that your purpose would expire when you expire. Because I'm still here. And if I'm still here, there's more for me to do.
There's a
And if
reason.
I've done a lot in these 30 years, I'll wait to see what I'll do in the next 20.
Right.
It's just a benchmark.
That's what it
For the
is.
least that I can do.
Right.
You know, I do different talks for young people, and I tell them, imagine without walls. If God says your greatest imagination is the least that I can do, I'm a living testament, because I've imagined some things, and then Dad shows up in a way that I'm just like, I didn't even think of it this way. And now I'm in this whole situation, but I ain't asking a question. I'm just going to keep riding this and just keep, they call me the knock door girl. If this door don't open, that means it's not for me. I'm going to the next door. next door.
Yeah, but
That's
you
how I
also
work
have
those
to
deals.
you have to have a position, like in terms of your how you view the world, whereas it isn't about fear or danger. Like you
Nah.
have to be able to accept. Like the person that wins is the person that can accept failure, that can accept struggle. Like, you know, we run. Like, so Jay and I run. You run a marathon, you understand you got to accept pain.
Right.
Because it ain't easy.
No.
But it's not supposed to be easy.
It's not.
You're supposed to grow into a space where you can accept adversity enough
Absolutely.
to see what's on the other side.
And I think that that's a big part of it, right? Because this is the stigma of the word work. Very often, people, I don't want to work. Really? So you want to die right now?
Right. Wow.
Because there's
would
no
not
way
wanna
you
work?
exist without working.
That's crazy to me.
That's just a crazy concept. You know, I wish you just play lotto. Yo, Pop told me he's been playing lotto since he was 19. He's 82, and he has not hit. But let's just do the math.
And he has not hit.
Let's just do the math. How much has he given to this scam?
Right.
Now, if he had given that money to me every year that he funded the lotto, and now the interest rate and the math that what he's given away more money than he thought he would win. Now we just got to change our relationship to the money. Listen, my failures are only a narrative of what I'm not doing again. Okay, my vision every day. You know, as an entrepreneur, it's a lonely journey. You have to be willing to be all parts of the entity. You're the CEO and the COO and the CFO and the stock girl and the cashier and the marketing director and the sales representative in the same 5 minutes. And you got to be willing to respond while still being a woman that's Black, building community, raising her children, responding to her significant other's needs. Like, at the end of the day, if humanity has built me in a way to be able to do all those things, then who am I to question it? And God is doing his part. So wherever I fall short, it's just an opportunity for him to show up stronger. So my weakness only reveals his strength. So what am I scared about? Why am I worried? Like,
No reason to be worried.
every time there's a wall, I'm either gonna go through it, go around it, or go over it.
Right.
And it's just that, you know, lens of my worldview that really inspires me. I don't need a clock to wake me up. You know, my son just taught me how to do the do not disturb on the phones because he's like, Mom, you know, you really should be getting at least 6 hours of sleep. And I'm like, yo, sleep is for the dead, bro.
You hit your son with that. So look,
He's like, you dragging it. Like, you're doing too much. You 52, Mom. Like, I'm like, yo, chill, slow down. Like,
right, calm
don't
down.
talk, don't
We're
talk.
different.
I'm
We're
still
different
Haitian.
50. Yeah, we're a different 50 out here. So tell me about 2012.
2012. So 2012 is December 12 of 2012 is the soft launch of Brooklyn Blue Smoke. Brooklyn Blue Smoke is just a passion, right? I love the leaf. If you're not sure which leaf it is, it's the tobacco leaf. Cigars to be specific. And around 2010, I'm not traveling as much, and I'm itching because I've been smoking since I was 21. I had my first cigar in Cancun at Daddy-O's, if you know what Daddy-O's is, if you was outside. It was lit. And they had a little humidor on the bar. I don't smoke anything else. I've never really gotten into cannabis. I'm not a cigarette smoker. And I'm like, you know, what's this? And he's like, oh, it's a Monte Cristo, Cuban, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, all right, you know, let me try it. I'm going to smoke. I'm going to have a cigar. Let me get a carafe of white wine. I have my first cigar at Puffy's party that's hosted at Daddy-O's. And I am just like, this is amazing. You know, because I don't have the bad habits of a smoker. He showed me, just pull in your mouth and blow right back out. But I'm just decompressed. I'm mellow. I'm there because working for April at the time, we were wardrobing Big E and Gary Payton and Derek Coleman. All these different people were at the Cancun. It was Memorial Weekend, so they would, you know, Cancun was the spot at this time. And I had this first cigar, and I am turned out. Okay, so as I'm journeying through the industry, when everyone is turning up at the end of our work produced, you know, whatever. Again, I'm a Black female, so a lot of times I'm rolling with a lot of dudes. And a lot of dudes is probably going to the strip club. And I'm like, I'm good. You know, we already had enough. I'm married. You know what I'm saying? I got real. I'm just like, y'all want to be doing wheelies. Yo, you don't get a bike? Nah, I'm good. You know what? They got a car for me. Nah, next time, I promise. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, whenever I'm out, this is what I'm doing. I am looking for a cigar lounge and I'm enjoying it. And I'm in my back of my mind like, there's something about this. You know, there's a lot of business being done in this room. A lot of times they acting crazy. They like, yo, you find something for your husband? Right? No. Or you want to get a gift for your boss? I'm like, nah.
Sexist.
I want to smoke for me. And then they'll be like, oh, okay. So we got the Fruit Loop cigar and the coffee. And no disrespect for those that love infused flavors. You know, it's a great way to introduce your palate to tobacco. But I'd be like, yeah, nah, I'm going to do the Lancero, you know, whatever. It's there for the day. I'm not giving nobody no promise because y'all not got no checks, you know. I'm sorry.
No,
but I'm not.
It's fast.
No,
But at the end of the day,
send a check.
so send a bird. I'll shout you out all day. So in my back of my mind, as I'm in these rooms, I'm saying to myself, one day I'm going to open up a lounge and I'm going to make it so that they experience us.
When's the first time you said that?
Ooh,
When's the first time you said one day I'm going to open up a lounge?
I'm going to say, you know, I said to you before, I go down the rabbit hole. When I get into something, I just really start. So, you know, I'm looking at, the more and more I'm getting into tobacco, the more and more I'm learning about the history of tobacco. And a lot of people don't know the history of tobacco, but when they think of tobacco, we think of cigarettes, which is not what cigars are. They're worlds apart, number one. Number two, we think about cigars as this very wealthy, luxurious product that, you know, is only for the old white man, right? And as I am diving deep into the cigar infrastructure, I'm like, wait, hold on a second. So Monte Cristo, Romeo and Julieta, and Cohiba originally started in Cuba? Why they got names like Monte Cristo, Cohiba, and Romeo and Julieta? The Romeo and Julieta story is not set in Cuba.
Right.
And we know Cuba is Cuba, which is a very black space. We know Fidel Castro and all of his resistance against the mob running this country and him just basically like saying, nah, we're not doing that over here. You know what I'm saying? It was centered on the fact that he was protecting people that look like him. So now I'm just like, oh wait, this is crazy. Like, so wait, hold on. So wait, Cuba, so wait, Honduras, so wait, Dominican Republic, so Costa Rica, so like these is all black spaces. So this is even America. When we think about the history of this nation, we think about cotton picking. There was also tobacco picking. Tobacco was a very big part of the GDP of this nation at its inception.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? When those that thought that they discovered someplace, but clearly you can't discover something that's already inhabited. The indigenous people were trading tobacco as if it was money because they'd always had spiritual significance. The women, the Taino women, the native women of America would roll the tobacco for their significant others when they came off from the gathering and herding and say, baby, smoke this while I prepare this meat that you just brought home. So it's ours. So why I'm feeling uncomfortable in this goddamn room and y'all selling my shit? So in my head, I'm just like, nah, this is not gonna work. I gotta figure this out. And this shit is expensive. I need to figure out how to offset this investment I'm making because I'm looking at my bank statement. I'm just like, if you want to know what you love, just look at what your bank statement says. You spend most of your money on, and I'm spending a lot of money on tobacco. And I'm just like, so if I do the math properly, I could open up something that offsets my investment and my costs for how much I consume. I know Biggie said, don't smoke your own supply, but I be smoking my shit.
I know you heard this before. Never get high on your own supply.
So, long story short, I want to say, I can't really give you a specific time, but I want to say that one of the things that I have become habitual in is every country I went to, I would find a cigar lounge in that country. I wanted to see how that country interpreted tobacco in that space. Every city I went to, when I'm traveling, as I'm walking, you know, going from city to city, if I'm doing a 40 city tour, we hit everything from the east to the west coast in like an 8-week time frame. After each event, first of all, I was never really doing 40 city tours. That's not front. Like I was doing the major cities because I was not built to do the 40 cities. Like the artists are genius and brilliant. They had the ability to do that. But I would look for the cigar lounge in that city to see how, Chicago interpreted the lounge versus how Miami did it versus how Cali did it versus how, you know what I'm saying? We doing it in New York. And around 2010, I'm not traveling as much. And I'm at a spot in the city. And there was a group. It was the GNS Cigar Group, the Grown and Sexy Cigar Group. And they would meet at this spot every Friday. So we'd come in there and dominate. And I'm just watching us go in the humidor, spending money. And this is at the beginning. This is like, you got to think about Facebook, social media. Social media starting to bubble. And people that are part of the membership are getting a little itsy about the fact that all these black people are showing up in their spot taking over on a Friday night.
Right.
And I'm sitting there with some folks and I'm just like, we're giving a lot of money away. We need to change the trajectory. We need our own space. And it needs to feel like us. This is our shit anyway. You know what I'm saying? And that's when it started to bubble. So between 2010 and 2012, I'm looking for lease spaces. I want to be in Brooklyn. I'm from Brooklyn. I need to put a foothold in Brooklyn because gentrification is coming in. And I'm just, as an entrepreneur, I'm just like, if we don't lock in space right now, we won't be able to later on. And I am navigating this part of Brooklyn because this is where I feel like the fabric of who I am. And I just really need to hold space for my people because at the end of the day, the brothers and sisters of the Leaf are people of all walks of life, all different economic backgrounds, all different cultures. And when it comes to us in a space, there's something about the tobacco that creates this level of vulnerability. I was hoping I could smoke in your room, but I didn't want to mess up your fabrics. So I'm not gonna. I know once I got to this part, it'll make me want to, but I'm gonna refrain and just wait till I get back to the lounge tonight. But it's something about enjoying the tobacco that really kind of opens people up. It doesn't, compromise your thinking like alcohol does. But there's a level of truth, a level of transparency that exists around brothers and sisters of the Leaf. And I'm watching this manifest with all different kinds of people in all different kinds of spaces. And I'm just like, nah, we need this as a people group. I needed to be a captive maternal. It's a term my son taught me. I said, what's a captive maternal? He said, a captive maternal is Emmett Till's mother. She sacrificed her pain to open that casket to show the world what they did to her son. And I said, that's an awesome concept. So I'm going to be a captive maternal and create a cigar lounge where black women and men will be safe in a space to commune and talk and build business and grow. We're the Brooklyn think tank. If you ain't never been thinking before, you need to come to Brooklyn Blue Smoke and get that think tank on, learn something new.
Did it ever cross your mind that the irony of you opening Blue Smoke on the pathway between where you lived growing up and the community, April, and where like your path that you trod,
right,
your original path? Was that lost on you, or did you like?
You know what?
When you found the lease on Washington, were you like, yo, this is some shit?
It wasn't. The epiphany didn't hit. It was. It was such a because you got to think 2010 to 2012, Brooklyn is bubbling. You know what I'm saying? Like economic holding space in Brooklyn as a Brooklynite is a amazing feat.
It is.
And by 2012,
I just left the Patron with her. She said,
right. She said, we've
Right.
been giving them props all this time. They might as well see it.
Right.
I want to say in 2010 to 2012, I wasn't connecting all those dots that way because I was so focused on really just holding space in this section of Brooklyn because being here, it was important for me to feel safe and enjoy tobacco, but not just for me, but for everybody around me. You know what I'm saying? Cigars is a very niche kind of like, if you either smoke or you don't.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then as a black woman, when I opened the cigar lounge in 2012 of December, I was the first black-owned cigar lounge owned by a woman in the entire United States. Like, the idea that in 2012 we're still doing first.
Right.
It's
crazy.
insane.
That's crazy.
You understand what I'm saying? So, there were, it was just a matter of really kind of like figuring out how to create this space and build all the things that, and the room is really a room that just reflects the history of my experience, different spaces, the different things that I saw in different countries that I liked. And it was just like, oh, I like that chair. Oh, I like this bar. I like this, there was a beautiful hotel I stayed in in Amsterdam, and they had these lockers that went from the floor to the ground. And they had, like, I don't know if you've been to those old libraries where there's like a ladder and it rolls.
And you got to roll across, right?
So it's just elements of different things that I saw, what I'm saying, that were just inspiring to me, that I just, put into part of my lookbook.
Let me ask you something. At what point did Blue Smoke jump the shark? And by that, I mean, at what point were you aware of the fact that what you built was sustainable, but also a thing that could be developed into something that was successful? And the reason why I'm asking you that is because, again, going back to this small business theme, it's not enough sometimes to see the vision. It's not enough sometimes to be able to create it, but then to sustain it is an entire different thing.
Right.
And I can tell you, I have dozens of friends that spend a lot of time at Blue Smoke. And even back then, in 2012, 2013, I would name some of them, but I'm not.
Don't do that.
Off camera.
Right,
We'll talk, right?
But
at what point? Right. At what point were you like, you know what? This can work.
Honestly, I want to say that to be an entrepreneur is to never be comfortable and to constantly be willing to disrupt what everyone says is impossible.
Right.
That's why I said it's a lonely feat.
Yes.
This idea that I need a model to build off of is not real, because I'm creating something that doesn't exist. The whole concept of being an entrepreneur is meeting a need.
Right.
There's a void in the market, and I'm creating something that does not exist. Ergo, there are Me Too businesses. There are businesses, there are products that, obviously there are thousands of tequilas out there, and there are, but there's levels to this shit, right? We know. I don't want to name drop because they're not paying us, but at the end of the day, and everything that we're doing, we may not be the first in every instance, but but not every model fits your own vision.
Right.
And when you're an entrepreneur, you really have to be always willing to stay uncomfortable. Like, you can't get comfortable. The minute you get comfortable, this is when things go left.
You gotta live in a spirit.
You gotta constantly,
you gotta live in that. You gotta be okay with
when shit is comfortable.
That's a problem.
You got a problem.
Right. You got a problem.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
You got a major problem. So it's constantly being able to reinvent yourself. It's constantly being able to respond to the shift in the market. The market that it was in '99 is not the market that is today.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? My ability to basically constantly look and analyze not just my business, not just my brands, but just being in this as a merchandiser, doing the kind of work that I do. I'm constantly doing research. I'm constantly looking at different products, different whole ecosystem to really understand how to bring better value, how to bring greater returns on your investment. So that's really just where I live. So and I say that to say that even now, 12 years removed from its conception or its grand or soft launch, I am still daily giving God thanks in the morning for yesterday's performance. I am still moving in anticipation on what today would produce, into saying, God, have your way. I'm going to be obedient and just navigate this world the way I believe things should be done. I'm not perfect. I've hit a lot of walls. I failed. This is business number, Blue Smoke is technically business number 4. Mm-hmm. Business number 1 doesn't exist anymore. Mm-hmm. Business number 2 and 3 and 4 are still with us. And that speaks to the fact that just because you fail at something don't mean that you can't reinvent yourself and do something else.
Failure is a pathway to success.
Absolutely. I'm not scared of failure.
Right.
Failing is really just...
I want to fail.
Failure allows me to engage a process of elimination of what not to do. It's just that simple.
Right. Absolutely.
So,
you're not trying if you
I'm
ain't
not.
failing.
Absolutely. And Blue Smoke for me was really a testament to my brand manageability. As a merchandiser, I perceive myself in the business and the work and the consultant work that I do when I push into a company is to really kind of help that brand leverage its brand with other brands, with other product and commodities. when I decided to open Blue Smoke, outside of the fact that I love the leaf, outside of the fact that I wanted to create safe spaces, outside of the fact that I was just like, people don't really know me because I'm always working behind the scenes. I'm always doing something for someone else. I wanted to create something that spoke to me as a person, and nothing was more befitting than the cigars. If I had on some product, which I obviously did not choose to wear today, the logo it looks like tobacco leaves, but it's really 12 women's heads. The next time you look at it, pay very close attention to the logo, because it speaks to the women, the women that were responsible for rolling that tobacco. Even today, I just did a tour in Santiago, and one of the major brands, and 85% of the factory is women, because we have thinner fingers. You know, the master rollers. You know, it might be a master blender, but when it comes to the mass production, to maintain the consistency of that story, that cigar is trying to tell you, the integrity of the smoke, the quality of the blend, the perfection of the wrapping, to hold all those parts together, the journey, the hello to the transformation to the end, where you're just like, you're just releasing everything. And that story is put together by a woman. And that's what those women embody in the logo. Those stories that those women have. And I didn't want men to think the room was pink with balloons, because it was a black-owned, female-owned cigar lounge. So I masked the women in the logo. Now they run around with 12 chicks on their chest. They don't even know. They have no idea. Until I pointed out, they're like, "Oh, that's crazy."
Tell me how, to the heights in which you've leveraged this brand, Blue Smoke, either in the brand, like in the space, or with regards to other partnerships and sponsorships, like where, like the brand and then the facility, right? Because Blue Smoke is an actual brick and mortar space, but it's also a brand.
Right.
So how have you leveraged the brand, and then how have you kind of leveraged the space itself?
So, the best way to respond to that question, we've done everything in this room. I mean, I've done everything from shoot movies, reality shows, all kinds of documentaries, podcasts, all kinds of product content for the space, because the space is beautiful. It's very welcoming and warm. It also, we've leveraged just really building the Blue Smoke brand as a space that you can enjoy your tobacco. It's an excellent space. That's the motif. If you want an excellent space to enjoy your tobacco, Brooklyn Blue Smoke is where you want to experience that. That's the biggest commodity that we trade. Is about the experience. So in this world of technology, we're finding less and less opportunities to really interact like this and just have real conversations. You know, everything is done through these devices, you know. And, you know, as an adult, I mean, we have to accept the fact that we are first generation in our generation and our age group to make the kind of money that we're making, to live the kind of life that we've created. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm the first in the cigar, but there's so many spaces in which April was the first. And, there's all these firsts that are constantly happening because we are interweaving a fabric and a tapestry of excellence that speaks to all of the gifts and talents that each of us have in our respective spaces. When we talk about the music, the fashion, and the athletes, but there's an army of people behind each of those individuals that are honing in their skills, honing in their craft, and producing something, some commodity that could be traded. And the world spends all the energy in the world trying to dismiss it. Oh, no, your talent's a dime a dozen. Is it really? Because it's 100 billion in the world, and nobody's doing it like I'm doing. So, you expect me to be sorry? No, I'm not sorry, nigga. See me. You see what it is.
Right.
Pull up.
Right.
I'm here to share the love. Like, I'm not gonna beat my chest unless I got something to deliver. And I'm here 12 years because we deliver.
What's the most expensive stick in Brooklyn Blue Smoke right now? How much does it cost?
Listen, because New York is New York, real estate and having a large walk-in humidor is a challenge. So I curate our selection. I am constantly bringing in new stuff. I want to challenge your palate. I want to introduce you to something new because black men are creatures of habit. You guys get on something and I just be like,
ride that shit 30 years.
Ride it to the right, exactly.
Just
I
like
just be
our barber.
Right, exactly.
For 30 years.
Period. So I say that to say,
same football team. 40
our
years.
prices range. We're a cigar lounge and this is New York. Our taxation is 76%. Unlike cities like Atlanta.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, you heard me.
Wait a minute.
That's crazy.
Your taxation is 70.
Tobacco.
Tobacco is
And that's why this pack of cigarettes costs $20 in New York,
Right.
and when you go to down south, niggas be like, yo, bring me a carton.
$4, right.
It's like $4 because our tax is so high. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't really do pricing on public platforms at this point. At the end of the day, it's an experience. And you pay for what you get. And if you want to experience something excellent, then you should come to Brooklyn Blue Smoke. There's a lot of places.
What
you
has
can
been the
choose to
most
smoke.
influential person to visit Blue Smoke?
Influential person? Me.
I didn't say famous. I said influential.
Me.
See, this is what I'm
I'm in
saying.
the motherfucking
I
same
ain't
day.
talking about you. Outside of you. Outside of you.
All right, you have to qualify that.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Outside
Outside
of
of
me, I don't like to. Listen, let me say this. A gentleman came in this week, and he said to me, why don't you have a flag that, so people can really see you? And I said, because, this is a lot like a speakeasy. When the celebrities and the people come, I don't take pictures with them and post them on my social media. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not, I don't clout chase like that. And we all New Yorkers. Come on, guys. We all celebrities.
We all
I'm a
stars.
star.
Right, we all stars.
I'm a star.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm definitely
what
a
are we
star.
talking about?
Right.
Like, I'm not impressed with no. I mean, if Jesus pulled up right now, I'm a groupie
I kind
out.
of would be like,
It's gonna get
nigga, I thought you
crazy.
was dead.
I'm gonna be like, yo, the resurrection game was crazy.
Right,
Like,
right.
listen, I'm a straight go selfie. Me and God is what it is. Apart from that, I'm
Anybody
good.
else, you're
It's
good.
you human. You got blood. I got blood. We all the same, So I don't do the name.
How is
we
the
don't
business?
do that. The
Like
business
the
is
nuts
great.
and bolts.
Listen, at the end of the day, look, I don't sell chicken and fries.
You damn sure don't.
Everyone has to eat, but everyone does not have to smoke. Enjoying tobacco is something about, creating or taking time to really decompress. We New Yorkers, we in a rush, we moving. We got 8 jobs, we got to hustle, we got to figure it out because we got to make those numbers number in order to cover our overhead because we live in this city. It ain't because we over living, it's just that we live in New York and everything is super high. We think that we're not rude, we just focus because we got to get to work and people are expecting us to be on time. So get out the way. But at the same time, I say that to say, it's a great business. It's 12 years. It's a niche. It's successful. And these 12 years I've learned a lot. Being a brick and mortar is very different from being a consultant. Meeting people every day. Like I can tell you, to this day, after 12 years, at least once a month, somebody walks in from Brooklyn that smokes. And be like, how is it I never heard of this place? And I'm like, and I love it. I love it because it reminds me that there's still more work to do. Just when you thought you was a star, you're not a star.
Yeah, but that's a
You wanna get
marketing
humbled.
thing. Like there's a book called The Buying Brain, and it talks about that. Like you never will run out of new customers.
No, absolutely not.
Right? Like the idea that one will run out of new customers is crazy. You're always gonna have new customers.
And that's why it's so important as an entrepreneur. Like I tell a lot of my, clients, look, just figure out what's your meat and potatoes. Once you figure out what the meat and potatoes of your business, it's just a matter of replicating it over and over and over again. Because as long as you open every day, people will come. Right? People come. If I tell you the amount of groups and faces and people that were like furniture, and now I don't even see them anymore because they got married, they relocated. I thought that person
right.
was gonna forever be at that one seat because black men and men, women, black, blue, green, they are creatures of habit. If they sit in this chair on the first time they come, they're gonna look to sit in that chair every time they come in. Because they want comfort, and I work to make it comfortable. So if when you came, the bottle was positioned this way. Guess what? When you come back, the bottle's gonna be positioned the same way. I mean, we don't sell liquor, so don't send your folks over here looking for it. It's BYOB. There's a lot of rules of engagement. I'm just putting it out there in case y'all people listening, because y'all stay on the grind trying to shut people down. It's hard to have a black-owned business in New York. I was recently at a meeting with the nightlife mayor and Eric Adams, and they were talking about
You called him the nightlife mayor?
No, there is a nightlife mayor.
What's his name?
His name is Jeffrey Garcia.
Okay.
And then there is the mayor,
who's
who is
also
Eric
outside.
Adams. Listen, I don't disparage black people on live networks and platforms.
Shout to Eric.
So the nightlife mayor, Jeffrey Garcia, which I believe that's his name, but yes. And then there is, but Eric Adams actually instituted this person to work specifically with the nightlife businesses that are catered toward, what is the $30 billion in taxes we generate to the 65 million tourists that come to this city every year in order to experience our business.
Right.
So is the business doing well? Absolutely. Can it do better? Of course. Can you get your agencies in check, Governor Hochul? Please. Like, the fuck? Too much? I'm sorry. I don't want there to be any problems. I don't want y'all coming for me, but I'm just saying, at the end of the day, like, there's a reality around what it is to manage a black-owned business in a city like New York, what it is to have agencies that should be designed to protect our businesses.
Let's talk about that. What's one of the biggest issues of running a business in New York as a black woman?
Oh my goodness. It depends on the kind of business that you're in.
Your business.
In my business, I am, I guess, being black has always presented its challenges, right? Being black and a woman, I have two strikes against me. I'm in a male-dominated space. It's a cigar business. It's more men that smoke cigars than there are women. Most of the master blenders are. The brands, they're run by women. The world is run by men, guys. Come on. There's no news here, right? So in every respect that I'm in every business that I'm in, I'm showing up with two deficiencies. I am black and I am a woman. And those two things are constantly going to eat away at my ability to have a sword fight at the table with all the other men. But I have what I call ego diffusers. So I come in with my ego diffusers and I come to make peace because I want to do business.
What are your ego diffusers?
They're my titties. Come on, touch it.
I'm sorry.
Marlon, girl, stay with me. No more tequila for this guy.
I didn't see.
You closed your eyes when I did that?
I closed my eyes. I didn't want
right.
I looked
At the
away.
end of the day.
I looked away.
So yes. So I say that to say it's just hard being in business as a woman, period.
Right.
Black owned is another layer of complexity. The city really needs to do a better job at protecting us. If, as a black owned cigar lounge, let me rephrase that. As a cigar lounge in this city, attracting people from all over the world to come and experience this city, and they desiring to come into my establishment to enjoy this city's experience and version of New York City, then I think it'd be incumbent on said city to invest in my protection. Because I'm the only reason why your shit is sexy. They not coming to see the fucking residential buildings. Ain't not near motherfucker in the world of travelers ever said, you know what I want to go see? The apartments, the houses that they live in. Nah, nigga. They come to see and experience the city and what the city has to offer. And we make the city the $30 billion. We pay the city $30 billion in taxes to be here. Then we make the city money hand over foot. There should be a fund for us, like a tourism fund, to encourage and protect our business. When the health department want to pull up, he should make a fucking appointment. Don't just pop up in my shit with the DEP motherfucker and FDNY. Yo, you about to on a Friday? Yo, bro, come on, like you're doing too much. And Adams says, I don't do the political thing. It's too complicated. You know what I'm saying? I just simply say, I keep my head down. All of my businesses have been built on the sweat, blood, and tears of me. I have yet to be granted a government fund of some sort. I mean, when the pandemic happened, I didn't take that PPP because it was kind of invasive. But the EDIL did come in a little handy to support, but I sell tobacco. So it makes a level of complexity because the state's relationship to tobacco is violent.
Right.
76%, come on guys, you guys are doing too fucking much.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like the idea that the luxury tax, it's not a luxury tax. My guests are bus drivers. They're cops. They're firefighters. They are electricians and plumbers. They are coming, and this is therapy for them. They won't go see the clinician, but they'll come in the room and I see them decompress with each other. I see them share things. I call my friends and be like, bitch, I'm telling you, you got this shit all wrong. All this time, he's not cheating on you. Yo, bro, he been here for 16 hours. I gotta call this nigga and get him out of here. Because I gotta go home.
She said he's not, newsflash, he's not cheating.
He's not. He's with his mans and them, and they've been sitting here smoking for 3 days straight. Every day they at the door as soon as I open. Like, it's not what you think. Smell his shirt. It smell like smoke. You know what I'm saying? But I've learned so much about men. I've learned so much about the way in which, like, haven't had a relationship the way that I did for so long. I obviously weren't like traversing through a lot of relationships. Mm-hmm. So to really be able to be in this space for 12 years, to see men of all walks of life, all creeds of color, just be in this space.
When did your marriage end?
I'm sorry?
When did your marriage end?
2019.
Okay, so it lasted through Blue Smoke.
Yeah. No, it was that's what I'm saying. I'm recently divorced. Single, back out on these streets. You know what I'm saying?
Are you out?
I'm fucking cute.
Are you dating?
I'm outside.
But are you dating?
I am out the fuck. I don't know what Marlon don't understand. Y'all see me looking right at y'all. I'm not even talking to this man because I don't know what the situation is. But I'm just saying, I know I'm outside, so don't call me. I'm like Blue Smoke. I mean, but I'm picky. I'm just saying, like,
what you like?
I like what I like.
But
I'm not just putting that out there on it. I'm just saying,
we'll talk offline.
Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? I'm outside collecting data. So
this is what I want to ask before we you collecting data.
This is my
before we end this.
My kids are gonna be so mad. Lola and Isaiah, I love y'all. Like, I'm doing this for her so that she got good content. It's just funny. Kiki.
I want to know what you feel like, because you've done a lot over your life, right? You've had many iterations of yourself, as all of us do, right? But you've been quite intentional about creating those iterations for yourself. So I want to kind of know, what do you think your legacy is as Gloria, right? Gloria, the last child of 10 brothers and sisters. Gloria that grew up in Flatbush, right? Where is she now? But then I also want to know, like, in terms of, because the fact of the matter is, hustle is hustle. Entrepreneur. And so while Blue Smoke is successful, and you said business 2, 3, and 4 are all
right,
what's business number 5 going to be? That's the question.
Wow. I'm constantly dreaming, right? I'm not at liberty to speak specifically because
that means it's paperwork.
You ain't at liberty.
That means it's paperwork.
That means that we have to protect the intellectual property.
Right.
No, so I mean, look, as a serial entrepreneur, the brand is always me. Gloria Cherubin. My name means to give God glory. Gloria. Mm-hmm. Cherubin is cherubin. That's the angel with the double-edged sword standing at the Garden of Eden. Obviously, I'm Christian. You know what I'm saying? And my mother said that my life would forever give God glory. So I'm a warrior with a double-edged sword, curating a life that ultimately will edify my God. So, I have my dreams, I have my ideas, and then there's God's plan. I always say there's a perspective you have of me, there's the perspective I have of myself, and then there's the perspective God has of me. And my goal daily is to attain God's perspective of my life, because His ideas are beyond what I could even contain in my mind. I said, after 30 years of industry and working in various spaces, I believe that the next 20 years of my life is going to be centered around developing an infrastructure that allows me to live my glory years from 70 to 90 in a way that I'm comfortable. I don't think about retirement as a real concept for Black women. I think that we don't retire, but we elevate to levels of existence that allow us to manage our lives and the quality of life while not working so hard. But the work never goes away. We are culture curators. The entire ecosystem of the cosmos nurtures on our bosom. That's what I believe as a Black woman. I am in my role. So I'm constantly asking my God to navigate my steps so that I'm walking in line with what He believes or what He's called me to specifically do, because I have some things in mind. My brand, the Brooklyn Blue Smoke brand, the way I designed the art, I mean, obviously I'm not showing it right now, but I've seen merchandise. I want to build accessory products that are the accoutrements that you need, the cutters, the lighters, the carriers. I'm thinking about the type of partnerships that would make sense. When I develop a brand of tobacco that's centered around the Blue Smoke asset, I give so much respect to who are the blenders, to create the right partnership, to really blend something that speaks to not just my palate, because it's not about me buying my own product, but really creating something that responds to maybe a void, or creating something that's special and unique, that's centered around this brand, but it's always Gloria Cherubin pushing into Brooklyn Blue Smoke, or Blue Glory, or Ruff Ryders, or even partnering, leveraging with Kai and Hip Hop Closet.
But hold on, what's Blue Glory?
All right, I mean,
No, because I heard it.
I know,
I heard
I'm-
what you said. I'm just
I
asking you a
keep telling
follow-up.
him that not everything's open for discussion.
But you said it.
I did, but I slipped because you got me drinking this tequila.
Exactly.
I told him, don't give me this. It's so good. So, yes. Listen,
And lastly, your legacy. Like,
posterity, my children, working for, my ex-husband's a policeman. And I remember when I launched Blue Smoke, I said to him, look, you can't guarantee Isaiah a job. He has to take a test. He has to get through the academy and become a cop if that's what he decides. I said, but what I'm building is something that I can create a sustainable model that's dum-dum proof, that even if they don't want to be in a tobacco business, the way I'm going to educate them about the tobacco business, they can at least have it and let it run and hire people to run it for them. But no one will ever talk crazy to my daughter, because she's not going to be bound to some dum-dum doodle who thinks he's going to wild her out after some situation, and because she's married, she feels stuck or bound because she's got a legacy that's producing for her agency and opportunity and space for her to grow and to be whoever she decides she wants to be. But the idea that I'm working for her great-great-great-great-grandchildren, if Christ don't come back before that, this brand should sustain itself, because one of the core values is strength beyond one person. So strength beyond me, strength beyond Lola and Isaiah, strength beyond, and just really building. And I think that as Black people, we need to, listen, we need to begin to think beyond just this moment in time that I'm here. So often we design our lives believing that, we are the first, or what we're experiencing is, it's harder for us. Things are crazy. Like, back in the day, it wasn't. Pick up a book, read a little history. Just think about that woman that landed in New York, naked, from Africa. She got off that ship, it was fucking winter. It was cold. She's naked, and some motherfuckers walking around on a chopping block like, yeah, I want that one. I need you to see me and understand that I'm the descendant of a person who landed somewhere. And behind me, you might not see them if you ain't got the right eye, but there are legions of people that survived, that perused through life, that was just like, it's a baby that's coming. And it's me. So if they did what they did in their time to produce my life, do you understand who I am? Do you understand who you are? Every one of us that made it to this space to be who we are. Like, are you casual about your life? Are you just moving through the monotony of the routine of your day saying, oh man, it's sunny again? Yo, listen, when I wake up every morning, there ain't no box, I'm going ham.
facts.
It's
I
up.
feel you on that. It's
With
all
no
the way
alarm.
up.
Nothing.
Yeah, it's all
I'm
the way up.
outside.
It's all the way
See
up.
me? Because I'm doing my numbers. What you doing? Because listen, I ain't stopped working it's not because I want to work. It's because there's still work to be done.
Right.
You can't get comfortable. It's not about amassing a lot of things. It's about building community. I remember in the pandemic, a friend of mine came to the lounge. She's not a big smoker, but she pulled up. She had relocated to DC. And at the end of the night, we were outside. We had the outdoor experience because New York had let us have that, because that wasn't normal. And at the end of the night, the men started bringing the chairs in, folding up, And she's like, yeah, what the fuck is going on? And I'm like, what you mean? She was like, I just seen you charge every one of these guys for their experience. I was like, yeah, so what's the problem? She was like, but they're packing up. And I was just like, oh yeah, nah. I mean, they're gonna help me.
Right.
And she's like, what restaurant did you go to in your life
That
where you went
bent
and
up the
helped?
chairs.
Right. Nobody helps after they pay, G. And I was like, nah, baby, you don't understand. Sisters and brothers of the lead, this is a community.
Right, it's a family.
This is family. Like, I got brothers now that didn't come from my mama. I talked about those other 9 people, but nah, they like 90 now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's just like, it's a community. And that's what it's about, is building, forging community. I'm constantly looking for new new spaces. I don't want to ever be the smartest person in the room. But I'm the smartest person in the room, I got a new room I'm looking for. Because I need somebody to pull me up to the level that they at. You
Last
understand what I'm
question.
saying?
Do you have a mentee? Like, do you give this knowledge to people?
I have. I'm very much invested in mentoring. I'm very much invested in being mentored. You know, people come to Blue early just to have that time, that one-on-one. I never shy away from sharing the wealth of information that's inside of me, because I believe that this is how I give. Notice, it's also the same way I receive.
Right.
So if I'm constantly giving, then guess what? I'm also receiving. And I'm looking to be reverse mentored. I'm looking to be mentored by young people. My nephew's here, he's capturing content, he's building, you know what I'm saying? It's just the idea of, you know, not getting stuck in my own way and feeling like I've figured it out. I haven't figured it out. Because things keep changing, you know, and as things keep changing, we need to change. And sometimes we don't see it because so much is happening. But a young person who's not so corrupted by the no's and the resistance will just be like, nah, just do it, Mom. My kids do it all the time. They be like, yeah, nah, Mom, you can just say no. I'm like, yo, you know what? You are so right. For real, like, nah, I ain't got it. Yeah, we're not getting those bundles. I start using it on them. Yo, you remember when you said I could say no? Yeah, I'm flexing
saying
that.
no, right.
Nah. You know what I'm saying? You cute already. Look at all that hair you got in your hair. Why are we buying bundles?
Right.
It's so crazy. I told her today I was gonna get bundles. She was like, you might need a little more growth on the side. Yo, they be hating, bro. I be like, yo, what's wrong with y'all, man? I think it's just haters. She was like, yo, Sam gonna have to braid your brains. I'm like, you know what? I'm hanging up on his FaceTime. Cause y'all getting real disrespectful.
Right, y'all doing the
21
most.
and 25 is flexing too much on the FaceTime.
I love it. I love it. All right, so look. Now is the moment that deals with the sneakers. So look, you the guest. So normally the guest votes. You not included, even though your feet pieces is lit.
Okay.
But look, why is she doing that? Why would she even start rubbing?
That's crazy.
Like, why is she doing that?
That's
why
crazy.
she prepping her shit up?
The denim rub is
Look
crazy.
how she has her sneakers.
Nah,
right now.
it's the photo shoot ready,
Right,
bro.
like, what is she
come on.
doing, B?
That's
what I'm
crazy.
saying when I tell you they be hijacking the game.
Yeah. It's
So look,
mad influences,
you get
yo.
to choose who got the flyest kicks on between
Wow.
Kaisha, Jason, and myself. Now, I got the Jordan 1, the lows. It's suede here. It's the glow in the dark.
I see the metallic
Right,
on the
you see
back.
them, yeah.
That's
I'm
kinda
matching
crazy.
you, and I'm matching
You was-
vibe
Yo, how you did that though?
because I was feeling you.
That's
before I
crazy.
did.
That's
Right.
That's bananas.
Now it's her. What you got?
Just dope. It says just dope.
That's
So,
what it says.
you know what
It
I'm
says
saying?
just don't.
It says
That's
just dope.
crazy.
Oh, I like the
Yo,
back of those.
the backs.
though. I like the
little-
back. The hot pink is crazy.
The fuchsia. It's not even. Is that hot
Caramel
pink or is that
Sundays.
fuchsia?
It's-
you know what I'm
it's
saying?
fuchsia. It's
with the
fuchsia.
sparkle
That fuchsia's
hit,
lit.
that's kind of crazy with the gel bubble.
I love looking free.
That's
sneakers. Look at
and yo, free. Listen, I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. Like that royalty on the purple,
Look,
on the 6'4".
What's
Like,
those the
so
Kobe's?
today's is
wait.
Gigi's 19th birthday.
Right.
So
wow.
You see
that's
how he does that?
That's crazy.
You see what I'm saying?
Not the history.
Right.
You know I'm a history buff.
Right.
That's
That's why you
really
But look, I'm
bananas.
gonna tell you something. Those is purple. That's the Decept color. Shout out to Dallas Penn. It's been 1 year since Dallas Penn passed away. He transitioned. So I
Dallas
love that
was a good
purple.
brother.
Dallas was a great brother. So now you gotta choose.
That's
Who
wow.
wins?
So it's crazy that y'all would do this after pouring this tequila. And what's bananas is the way I struggled on coming into my boots, and I left my shoes in the bag, and it was like, nah, I'm gonna just keep it comfortable, throw the sneakers on, And I'm obviously not in this category because obviously all of my humility goes out the window and I would pick myself. But you know, that's not the case today.
Nah, that's viable. You gotta.
But I'm going to speak to each of you. The royalty, purple. You know, obviously as a black woman, it speaks to me in a number of different ways.
Shout out to Gigi.
This fuchsia against this natural tan color, like,
Caramel
and then
Sunday.
you
Why are you making them names?
You know what I'm
That's not
saying?
the
Like,
name.
I don't even know, but the camo would fit perfectly, and then you tied it back with the San Juan, Puerto Rico.
You see that?
Kayla just had a baby with a baby father from San Juan. So.
See, and we
Shout out
love
to
There's
Sam.
so many
so,
we
yeah.
do. It's twins. This is a lot.
Who's Michaela?
It's a long story, bro. Nikayla,
Right.
shout outs to Nikayla. You know, I'm giving you love in Cairo, and the second baby name I'm not really sure, but Nikayla, you know what you did. Y'all be doing the
Right.
black names. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Now this man right here, who I don't know if he saw my social, my story, because he came in all black with the New York shit. And the whole time I've been trying to size this shit up, like, if what size is he? He said he was 6'4", but so
that's
usually
a 12. That's a 12.
it looks so small on his
It's
feet,
a
but it's
12.
not.
It's
It's a
perfect.
12. It's not my size, clearly. So I'm gonna keep it 100, y'all. Like, real talk. If I had to think about what I would wear, yo, Marlon kind of got me,
My winning streak is over.
bro. You did what needed to be done, baby.
I
You
did
spoke
what
to
needed
my
to
heart.
be
He said,
Exactly.
"Do
You
what
did
needs
what
to be done."
needed to be done. Like, at the end of the day, like,
I did what
I ain't
you
gonna front. Like, it was when at some point you moved your foot and the little light over here reflected. I said,
it
yo, my
blinked.
nigga shit is
Right.
reflected in
Right.
the back.
Nigga
Like,
shit in the back is
this
bling.
nigga shit is safe on a bicycle. Nigga on a bike like this, city bike, you see me. You see that light?
I might need to come.
Nah, run now.
Yo.
Hey, yo, Dre, what size you wear?
Yo.
Nah.
You know what I mean? And then you have it.
My size.
Look,
Niggas
Jay
in
is
my-
tight. Look
I
at
was
Jay.
trying
Look at
to,
Jay.
I was
He
trying to
tight.
stick him up with
I
his.
wear a 10.
Oh, you short, son.
Yeah,
He
you
12,
know, short.
like.
It's 2 sizes.
But Isaiah, my son, is about your size, yo. I'm
Or
just saying, like.
Isaiah, come see me. I'll give it to him.
All right, you a good man. You a good man. He be in town after we do Lola graduation from
Where's
Hampton
he at
University.
now? Where's your kids at?
So Isaiah is a black geographer at UC Berkeley doing his PhD.
That's beautiful.
Oh yeah,
That's beautiful. Yo,
love him.
my
25.
nephew Cody just got accepted to
I
Temple.
saw that.
Nice, congratulations.
I said, what?
Yeah.
Let's
This
do that.
dude, let me tell you about my nephew. He plays video games till 3 in the morning. Fall asleep. He will order Uber Eats. The Uber Eats will deliver at the door. I'll leave the crib in the morning on my morning run, and I see lemon pepper wings in front of my. I constantly have to tell this young man to take the garbage out.
Crazy,
This motherfucker got like a 3.3 GPA.
As
I
he
didn't
should.
know about it.
as he should, yo. He's your family. The
He got
bloodline
accepted
run
to
thick,
Temple. I said,
just like that.
yeah, like what?
Just like that. So Zaya's doing his numbers.
That's
25,
big. That's
PhD,
big.
just completed his first year. He's doing a talk tomorrow on Sinners because Sinners was crazy. If you didn't
Sinners
see,
was
go see
crazy.
that.
Sinners was crazy.
Lola Baby is my superhero. Lola's graduating from Hampton University.
Oh, she's at Hampton.
Yeah, she's in Virginia
that's
doing it
cool.
out. You know, the pretty girls
She's
go to
precious.
Hampton
Yeah,
because the
she's
grannies love them. Yeah, I know what it is. She's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah, precious.
And, but she's also just got accepted to NYU, so she'll be coming home to New York, which we're super excited about to do her graduate degree study. She's a psych major, so you know. But she's also a serial. They both got LLCs at their 21st birthday.
That's good. I like
Lola's on a creative bug. She's been creative from day one. Just like that's my. Both of them are creatives. You know what I'm saying? Like I got brilliant. Listen, I can't complain. God is good. I'm still waiting for the real parents to show up and be like, "Yo, Troy and Gloria, I did too much.
Right.
That's our baby." If they ain't look like us, we would really be expecting someone to come
Right.
snatch these kids up.
Right.
But listen, being a parent, that's the number one CEO company I run. You know, if you ask me what my greatest accomplishments are, it's growing and grooming nice people. You know what I'm saying? Being responsible for guiding them because their decisions are not mine, it's theirs. And they have made some brilliant decisions. They are the nicest people. And I actually like them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I rock with them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can hang with them. Like, they nice people.
Yeah, I feel
You know what I'm saying? So I think that's a really big accomplishment for me as a person. You know what I'm saying? Like, their accolades are their accolades. But, you know, being a mom, you know, in this city, raising a boy and a girl in an environment that wants to steal your children's joy and tell them that they're worth nothing, to see them blossom and to grow and to just traverse to the pandemic and just all the challenges, and to see them still just press for what they want just says so much about the tenacity of us as a people. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, and I think that's just so important. And I'm not speaking as us as a people, meaning my children and my people. I'm talking about all of us as a people. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it's something special to be us.
Nah, that's real talk.
And, you know, and we don't gotta shrink. We don't gotta apologize. We don't gotta, you know, because cats be talking crazy and trying to make us feel like we less than. Dude, check my numbers.
Right.
Check my stats.
So I got a 9-year-old daughter and a 7-year-old son.
Congratulations.
Right.
Nice.
So I have a 29-year-old as well who's thriving. She just bought a house in Central Jersey. She's doing a thing. But my 9-year-old and my 7-year-old, last night, my 9-year-old did a thing that she hasn't done in like 3 years. She climbed into my bed. So my 9-year-old, she hasn't slept with me. And my 7-year-old always climbs in my bed.
Right.
My son wants to sleep with me in my bed all the time.
Of course.
But my daughter hasn't done that in years. So she climbed in my bed about 2 in the morning, right? Then my son climbed in my bed, which he always does.
Right.
So when we woke up this morning, my daughter woke up first. And I asked her, I said, babe, why'd you come to my bed? Like, you don't do that. Like, what happened? Like, I'm thinking something happened. Like, what's wrong? She said, Daddy, I just wanted to lay in the bed with you. And that was like everything to me. I carried that with me all day
As you should. That should
right?
last you all year.
So when you say, look, I really like my kids, like I'm really trying to build good people.
Right.
Like I feel that on a real level.
All day.
Because all I want from my 9 and 7-year-old is to be good people.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying?
That's it. And you know, as parents, we're constantly challenged, you know, in fear and trepidation, making every decision, you know. And at the end, we don't know how they're going to turn out. We don't know what the results of the decision that we're making when we're in control of the decision making. And then when they're able to make their own decisions, we pray incessantly that they would draw from our wisdom in when they need to decide. Because we only on the outside seeing, look, at 52, I am absolutely comfortable with all the decisions you're making in your life. You as an adult, and my children, 21, 25, I say the same thing to them. Look, because the consequences are built in. I don't have the ability anymore to shield you from the reality of life.
Right.
And the years that I did everything in my power to pour into you everything that I have.
That's real.
So 7 and 9, oh, that's amazing years.
They're amazing. 29,
29, I don't know whether this is having a 29-year-old. I'm still at 21 and 25.
I have a 29-year-old.
I'm
my
looking
daughter's
forward to
amazing.
that.
Like she's dope. Like she's amazing.
That's
right?
what's up.
And I see my work ethic in her.
Absolutely.
I see my attitude in her.
Right.
Right? I see my control in her. Right? And she's doing great things, but her little brother and sister are my greatest project in this moment. Like even as I strive in my career, even as I do the things that I need to do, it's about them.
Absolutely.
It's about bringing them on, having them see what
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I guess we got to close this out because we talking, this is a whole other thing, but I won the sneaker war, right?
I'm not entirely
Da
mad.
da da.
Right?
Da da da. Come on, pick it up so they can see it.
Right?
You see what it
Right?
is.
You see what it is.
You see what's happening right
knock
here.
over the
Right?
control.
Right? And we'll see y'all
That's
next
the hate.
time. We love y'all. This is Conversations with Hip Hop Closet. Shout out to Gloria. Thank you so much.
Oh, it's a pleasure,
This
baby. Appreciate
this was higher than I thought we would get.
Oh wow,
This was a real
compliment.
vibe.
Thank
This
you
was a
very
real
much. I
vibe, but the
appreciate it.
tequila helped. See,
Listen, my tongue is numb. I'm saying words that I have
the
other
tequila
syllables. It's crazy.
we'll see you soon. We love you. Until next time. July 12th, Hip Hop Closet Block Party. Understand?
Do your numbers. Pull up.